Hello everyone. I wanted to start off this video by giving thanks to all the people who have been watching and commenting on my videos, especially like the constructive criticism. I really appreciate you all. Like I take everything to heart and listen because I want these videos to be enjoyable and a learning experience for everyone playing One Piece, including myself. I learn different things, new things playing One Piece all the time. I get wrecked a lot of the times, but that's I learn. Um and I hope you guys are learning as well. Okay, so today's video is a deck I made up with the new green leader from OP-03, Kuro. Honestly, the main reason I built a Kuro deck is because I pulled so many of the new green cards, the Krieg, which is a new green super rare that has double attack. So during my pre-releases, I pulled a lot of those, and so I wanted them to be useful, and that's why I built this deck. And I hope you guys enjoy it. I tried, I did my best on this, and it's actually pretty fun. I'm not sure if it's a meta deck, but it can definitely get some wins. So I'll go over that in a bit. Okay, so before getting into the deck profile, I wanted to share my list with you all. Like I mentioned, I built this deck around Krieg and the leader card. So I wanted to take advantage of the new cards that allow East Blue characters and leaders to attack more than once. So to that end, I added a lot of the new cards, but also included some tech choices like the green promo card. I'm gonna be King of the Pirates. Um, I will go over some of my tech choices for this deck later on in the video. So if you're looking at some of the cards in the list and wondering why I included them, don't worry, I got you covered. I'll go over them. So let's go ahead and go into the deck profile and strategy first. So let's start with the general overview of the deck. The goal is to be able to put East Blue bodies on the board, which will later help enable our leader's abilities. Some of the East Blue characters help provide pressure and board control along the way to help us close the game with either our leader or Krieg. I don't know how to pronounce it, if it's Krieg or Craig, but you'll probably hear me say both names throughout the video. Okay, so the mulligan part. So playing Krieg as early as possible is important. You want to prioritize him, getting him in your hand. So unless you get a hand with Krieg along with like only 2k counters, then I would probably toss that hand and draw again. Krieg is important, but building a board prior to playing Krieg is equally important. So the cards you want to start off with are Nami, like to help search for either Kreig or Jango. Um, a Butchie and a Sham to help control the board and also provide an attacking body. So honestly, the Butchie and Sham combo is such a strong opening. So even if you don't get to KO anything, and let me just explain what they do really quick. So Sham he's a 3 cost. When you play him, you can rest a 2 cost character. And then on play, if there is no Butchie on the field, you can summon Butchie from your hand. And what Butchie does, he's a 4 cost, 5k attack. On play, he KOs up to one of your opponent's rested characters with a cost of 2 or less. So in the early game, when people are putting their searchers or their blockers or their small minions, like Sham and Butchie will just clear it in one go while providing 2 bodies on the board just by playing Sham. So that's why I think that opening is a really strong one for any East Blue deck, or especially for this one. But you want to have them in your hand, having the combo in your hand. So yeah, again, so for Mulligan, the perfect hand would be Nami, Butchie, and Sham. That's the perfect hand that you can ask for. Otherwise, you can Mulligan for having a Nami, and any playable early body is good enough. So we have like Momo, which is like a 2-drop 4k attack, vanilla. You have Buggy, which is 3 cost 5k. So those are early bodies that are still playable and that are fine to start off with your hand as long as you have like a Nami. But yeah, the perfect hand that you want to keep is Nami, Butchie, Sham, and anything else. Early game. So you want to open with Nami and search for an Ace Blue character that you can use for the mid game part of the match. So this includes either Krieg or Jango. Um, if you can't find them, or if they're already in your hand, then pick any East Blue character that will help you fight for board. Or you can complete the Shambuchi combo if you only have one of the pieces in your hand. So that's what you want to search for. Prioritize the Krieg, the Jango. If you can't get them in your hand, then board or complete the Shambuchi combo. So the goal in the early game is to put bodies on the board and take a life or two from the leader, from the opponent's leader, before the Krieg turn, if possible. If you can't, then play characters that will help you take out the pressure from the opponent's board, so that when you play your Krieg, so that it's safe enough to play your Krieg on that turn, on turn either 6 or 7, depending if you're going first or second. Mid game. So hopefully by now you have some East Blue characters on the field. It's okay if they're just like Namis and Momos. They don't have to be attacking. They just need to be existing on the board so that you can use them for your hero if you need to. Now, this is the turn where you want to play your Krieg. So let me explain a little bit Krieg's effect and what makes him good. So he has 2 effects. When you play him, you can discard a card, and then you can KO up to 2 of your opponent's rested characters with a cost of 4 or less. His second ability, which is you put a Dawn +1. So when he has a Dawn attached to him, he gains the double attack ability. And so what double attack means is that when a double attack character damages a leader, then the opponent or that leader, they take 2 lives instead of just 1. So that's what double attack means. So now with Krieg, you want to play him turn 6 or turn 7, depending if you go second or first. If there are cards on the field that are rested and you want to pop them, go for it. But you don't have to use them. You don't have to use that on play ability. It's an option. You may trash, so you don't have to. So even if there is nothing on the field that you can KO using his effect, just playing him is good enough. So, and even if you are a little behind and the characters that your opponent used to attack you with are rested now, playing Krieg and discarding a card gives you just a huge advantage on your turn, just by KOing 2 or even just 1. Sometimes just 1 is good enough. What happens if you are in the mid game but you are not ahead on board, or you are behind on board, and it's not safe enough for you to play Krieg yet? So what do? What you can do is you have 2 options. You have X Drake, you have Law. Those are good cards to play. Law, he's a blocker and he has an effect. So his effect is when you play him, you can bounce a character from the board to your hand. And then you can play a 3 cost or lower from your hand to the board. So let's say you can bounce your Butchie. You can keep KOing, anything that's a 2 cost or less. And if you have a Sham, you can play from your hand and play another Butchie from your hand as well. So Law has provides like combo synergy with Butchie and Sham, while also providing like a defensive body to protect you. So he's a 5 cost 6k blocker, so it's a pretty strong blocker. You can use him to try and combo out the cards that you've already have on the field to win back the board. If you don't have a Krieg, you can play X Drake instead. Um, X Drake has one of Krieg's abilities in his ability. So his ability is on play, KO up to one of your opponent's rested characters with a cost of 4 or less. So it does what Krieg does, just that Krieg pops 2, Drake pops 1, but for Krieg you have to discard a card to pop 2. X Drake you don't have to discard a card. X Drake is 5 cost with 6k attack. Krieg is 6 cost with a 7k attack. X Drake does not have double attack, so so he's kind of like a less expensive Krieg, not as good, but when you don't have Krieg, playing X Drake is like a pseudo Krieg where you can pop a rested character and put a strong body on the board. So you can use X Drake when you don't have a Krieg in hand. You can also, if you don't have Krieg but you have a Jango, you can also use your Jango and use in combination with your leader. So Jango, his ability, he has 2 on play. You can choose one. The first option is set up to one of your East Blue type leaders or characters with a cost of 6 or less as active. So Kuro is an East Blue character, so Jango can restand your hero or your leader. And obviously Krieg, he's a East Blue character, 6 or less, so he restands him. But in this situation, when you don't have Krieg, you can put a couple of Dawn on your leader. You can either swing at the opposing leader. If you already have control, you can put pressure by swinging at the opponent's leader and play Jango and swing again. And that way you've hit your leader or their opponent's leader twice, while also summoning kind of a strong body. If you're struggling to control the board, then you can swing with your leader twice to try and clear 2 characters. And then you're still playing a strong body with Jango. The really cool part of Jango that I like is that if you have more than one Jango in your hand, or if you have one Jango on the field and one in your hand, Jango's effect of restanding an East Blue character works on himself as well. So, like, let's say you attacked with Jango and you have another Jango in your hand, you can summon the Jango from your hand and restand the Jango that just attacked, so it can attack twice. So Jango just gives you more options. At the very least, he'll be able to restand your leader. So those are the options that you can use in the mid game if you don't have Krieg in hand. You still have options and other ways to kind of do what Krieg does, not as efficiently, but you can still pull off like what you're trying to do through these cards. So in the mid game, try to have at least one of these cards if possible. You've now entered the late game. If you played a Krieg during the mid game and it is still on the board by the 8th to 9th dawn turn, then you will start attacking and setting up the win with your Krieg. Usually when attacking with Krieg, you want to be attaching around 2 to 3 Dawn on him. It just depends on the opponent's leader. Against, let's say, a Whitebeard or a yellow leader, I would suggest a bare minimum of 3 Dawn. Now, why is that? Okay, so let's start with the yellow leader. Yellow have access to a counter. It's a 2 cost counter, and what it does is that when you activate it, it gives your hero, or I mean your leader or character, plus 5k power. So every leader on the yellow has a base of 5k attack. So using the Ikoku Sovereignty, that's the name of the yellow counter card, pushes them up to 10k power. And so when you're swinging against a yellow leader and you notice that they have 2 Dawn active, then the bare minimum, just to get an attack through, is at least 3 Dawn. Same thing with a Whitebeard. So they have access to a card called Radical Beam. So Radical Beam, it's a 1 cost counter. What it does is that when you activate it, it gives your leader or character 2,000 power. Okay, but if you are at 2 life or less, then you get an extra 2,000. So that's 4,000 power. And if you're a Whitebeard, then you're already at 6,000 base, plus 4 raises you up to 10. So, and again, bare minimum of 3 Dawn Krieg puts you at 10. So if a yellow leader or a Whitebeard uses either of these cards, what they will need is an extra counter on top of their event counter card. They'll need an extra counter from hand to be able to stop Krieg's attack. Now, I do say bare minimum, right? Because swinging with Krieg depends on different scenarios. There are going to be some scenarios where you absolutely need Krieg to like get an attack through, and in those situations, doing the bare minimum of Dawn might not be enough. You might need to invest a little bit more Dawn to be able to get an attack through. Maybe you don't want to invest too much because there are blockers on the field that you know you can't get through. So attaching 1 Dawn, which is the bare minimum that you need, 1 Dawn to activate his double attack, is probably all that you'll need, or all that you can afford to do. So, when swinging with Krieg, you have to keep these factors in mind. Also, what you need to consider is after you've swung with Krieg, you're gonna need to have ways to protect him. So that either includes leaving Dawn up for one of your own counters, so like Punk Gibson, or using Dawn to summon blockers to defend him, and making sure you have enough 2k counters from hand to be able to protect them. So all of these factors have to be taken into consideration when swinging. Swinging with Krieg is more than just trying to close out the game as well. You can use him strategically to try and force your opponent to dump their hand. So let's just say, what if they have like a huge hand advantage over you? And then kind of investing enough Dawn for them to, they have to make a choice. They either accept the double hit and take 2 life, which is pretty devastating. Sometimes it depends on how comfortable they are with their board and being able to control the situation. But yeah, sometimes just using Krieg to attack and forcing your opponent to choose to either dump cards from their hand or take a double attack is a sound strategy, and not putting all your bets or all your chips on Krieg to close out the game. You can use your Dawn efficiently in that way. Okay, so let's just say that the whole Krieg strategy is not working out. Say you never find Krieg. It's fine because you still have a winning condition with your leader. Especially if you've reached the late game and your board still has, a bunch of East Blue characters that you played at the early game and that you haven't touched until now, like until the late game. If you have those characters, then the threat of a hero of your leader is just insane. So what many people don't realize, and what I like the most about Kuro, is his ability. So his ability is, activate main, you rest 3 Dawn, and then you rest 2 of your East Blue type characters, and then you set your leader as active. And then you can rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. There is no restriction on the amount of times you can use his ability. The only restriction is how much Dawn you have and how many characters you have. Okay, so let's just say that you have 4 East Blue characters and 10 Dawn. What you can do is you can put 4 Dawn on your leader. He's at 9k. You can swing at your opponent's leader for 9k. Okay, you still have 4 characters up and you still have 6 Dawn left. You rest 3 Dawn and you rest 2 of your East Blue characters. Now your leader, can attack a second time. And after that, you still have 3 Dawn left and 2 East Blue characters. And if you want, you can rest the 3 Dawn, you can rest the 2 characters, and you can attack again for a third time. So like I said, there is no limit to how many times you can use your leader's ability, as long as you have the characters and the Dawn to be able to activate them. That's what makes his ability amazing. But we last said Eustace Kid was really strong because he could restand and attack twice. Well, Kuro can do that, and even an extra time, so you can attack 3 times. Now, there are situations where perhaps you don't have a board. Maybe you only have 1 East Blue character. In those situations, and keeping those situations in mind, it's one of the reasons why I chose Out of the Bag as a one-off for Crew. So what this card does is it costs 3 Dawn, and it reads: you may rest 1 of your East Blue type characters and set up to 1 of your Kuro cards as active. So it's like you're restanding the leader using his ability, because you still pay 3 Dawn. You restand them. The only difference is you only need 1 blue character, East Blue character, not 2. But the trade-off is that you don't get the crew's second ability, which is to rest 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. See, the second part is really handy because when there are situations where there is a blocker in the way, Kuru's ability helps you rest those blockers so that you can get through them. And so that's something that Krieg cannot do. And this gives it, in certain situations where you have the blockers and Krieg, there are times where attacking with your leader is probably better. So Out of the Bag is a great card to use when you don't have much of a board. You can use Out of the Bag to kind of cheat out an extra attack without fulfilling all of the requirements of your leader's ability. When you do have a board and you want more, want to use your Dawn more effectively, I'm King of the Pirates is a great tech choice. So what it does, it's a 2 cost event, and what it does is your leader gains plus 1,000 power for each of your characters during this turn. So let's say, for example, let's say you have 4 characters, 4 East Blue characters, and 10 Dawn. You rest 2 Dawns, you activate I'm going to be King of the Pirates, and you get 1,000 for each of your characters. So now your leader is at 9,000 power for just 2 Dawn. And you still have 8 Dawn available and 4 characters. Let's say you swing, you do your normal swing of 9k. Then you can use your hero's ability, or leader's ability, rest 3, rest 3 Dawn, rest 2 characters, East Blue characters, and swing again. And you can do it a third time with the remaining 3 Dawn and the remaining 2 characters. And because you use King of the Pirates, you've only used 8 Dawn, so you will still have 2 Dawn available, and you can use 2 out of the 10 original Dawn. So you can use those last 2 Dawn however you like. You can leave it. You can use them to summon a blocker. You can use them to leave them open so that you can use a Punk Gibson during your opponent's turn. Or you can use those extra 2 Dawn to buff your leader's attack even more. So instead of 9, he can be at 11. That's why I kind of chose to tech in this card. I'm going to be King of the Pirates because it lets you do more with less, you know? So it buffs up your leader when you have a board without having to use up too many Dawn. And that kind of opens up more plays for you to do on your turn. So, kind of to summarize that, when you don't have a board, out of the bag helps you in attacking multiple times with your leader without having more than one, with just one East Blue character. When you do have a board, I'm gonna be King of the Pirates helps you buff your leader for just 2 Dawn. So they're kind of, you use them in these different situations, but both of them are good in those situations. And I only run one of each, simply because I think at one each is fine. You're gonna either be in one event or the other, and that's why I chose these tech cards. So this seems like a good spot to kind of talk about my tech choices. Now that kind of we've explained the deck and the different scenarios, the win conditions, I think it's a good time to talk about some of the tech choices. And I think we covered some of these cards along the way, but I can just review really quickly. So first, Law, Trafalgar Law blocker. I chose him because not only is he like a strong body where he can block, he can also attack. He's a 6k attacker as well, if you want to use him that way. Sometimes you have nothing better to play, or sometimes you don't have your Krieg in the mid game, and playing him is just fine as an attacker or blocker. His extra ability to bounce something back from your hand and play something from your hand that's 3 or less is an added bonus, and it kind of pairs well with Shaman Bucci. So that's why I kind of included Law. I only included 2, simply because they don't have 1k count. They don't have counters on them. So sometimes they can be kind of in your hand and you can't do much with them. I included X Drake as well because in those situations where you don't find Krieg, he does part of what Krieg can do in terms of like popping something. So he's a 5 cost 6k. It's a good body to attack with, and he has a 1k counter, so I decided to add him. I also added Hatchan, which is a East Blue character with a trigger. So his trigger is if your leader is an East Blue type, then you can play him from as a trigger, and that helps because I've played some games where I've had one blue character on the field. I took damage, and from that damage on life, I was able to trigger his effect and play him on board, and this allowed me next turn to be able to attack twice with my leader. So that's really helpful, getting him off of trigger. Now, even if I don't get him from trigger and he's in my hand he's a 2k counter. So I think Hatchan just fits the deck perfectly. You can use him as a 2k counter from your hand, or you can play him off trigger so that your hero or your leader has East Blue characters to use to activate his effect. Buggy is another character that I chose because simply because he's an East Blue character, and his ability is that he can't be KO'd in battle by slash attribute cards. So that includes Zoro, that includes Law. There's a lot of in this set. There's a lot of characters with slash. In this deck alone, there's a lot of characters with slash, and Buggy just being able to resist those attacks from leaders and characters is just really good. He's an East Blue character. The only thing I don't like about him is the fact that he doesn't have 1K counter. So currently, I have him in the deck as with 3 copies. You can substitute him or reduce him to like 2. Any of these tech choices, honestly, you can kind of mess around with. You can take him out. You can add more cards that you want to play into this deck. If that's the case, I would start with these tech choices first. You can substitute these cards. So Buggy, it's one of those. I also keep him around because if I, in the early game, if I don't get Sham or Butchie, but I have a Buggy in my hand, then it's an early game card that you can play, and he's a body that you can use to attack or clear board with. Tony Chopper, I also included mostly as a 2K counter, but also in those situations, probably playing against Law or like some Zoro decks where they run a bunch of searchers and then they use them to attack. Sometimes I just play Tony Chopper and use his ability. And his ability is you attach 1 Dawn, and when he attacks, you can rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less. So that gets through like some blockers, that helps you rest some 2K 2 cost characters, searchers from red, so like Izo, Buggy, Curly. He rests all of those, and then you can attack into them, or you can just use Butchie from hand to KO them without attacking. So Tony Chopper has some utility. He's not just a 2K counter, even though he could be. In some situations, you can use his ability and just surprise your opponent. Okay, so before getting into the matchups, I just wanted to show the list one more time. Now that you've seen the cards, you've seen the strategy, you can kind of have a better understanding of the cards and why they're there, especially cards like Momo or Mumu, right? East Blue character is just there, just as a body that you can play in the early game and that you can use later on with your leader ability. Punk Gibson event card, helps you defend and also rest a character 3 or less. Pearl blocker, pretty 2 cost count blocker. So this is the deck that I'll be running right now in these games. And I'm actually enjoying this deck, like I mentioned at the start. I think it's interesting. I haven't seen other people use the King of the Pirate check choice. That's one that I'm really excited to use. I'm always really excited to use that one. But yeah, so here's the list one last time before we get into the games. Alright, Smoker. Generally speaking, you want to go second with this deck. Just so you can play Krieg on curve. So in this situation here, we have the Krieg, but not much that we can do early game except for Sham, but we don't have Butchie. I might want a mulligan, just even though we have the Krieg, we don't have much of an early game, so we're gonna mulligan here. We have a blocker this time. We still have the Krieg, so we'll see what we can do. We're going first. Okay. Not the best hand, but we'll see what we can do with it. Okay. Didn't do probably has... What's that card? Okay. We might just play this Pearl. Or actually probably not. Just playing a blocker early is just like... It's too easy to just KO it. So we'll hold off on that. I think we're just gonna attack. Just go straight to leader. Okay. Next turn we'll play X-Drake. If nothing better comes up, and we'll probably play him. Yeah, we'll probably play him still. We can take 1 damage. That would be better. Okay. I think we'll still play the X-Drake. The only problem here... We'll probably play this just to bait out an attack from Kuzan, because I'm scared of... Like, we can play this, and maybe we can play Butchie, and get nothing from it, but I want him to attack, because he has the option of not attacking with Kuzan, and I need him to be rested, so that I can take it out with Krieg. And if I want him to be rested, I need a good bait. So I think playing X-Drake might be a good enough bait for him to attack my leader, reduce his cost, and use something to pop him. So we're gonna do that, but we're gonna attack first. And then, yeah, okay. So we'll see if he takes the bait. Because I want him to attack. I want X-Drake to kind of be KO'd. But he could just suck Kazuki-S anyway, so... we'll see where this goes. Let's see what he does, because... I'm not sure what other plays are better. And then we'll just use the Butchies. Okay. I see. I see what he's gonna do. Oh, there it is. He's actually gonna do it. Okay. Yeah, we'll block it. Okay. We'll hold on to the Butchie just in case, because we can. This is a target for him, but we're gonna put. So yeah. We're gonna attack here. The reason why I'm doing this is because I know he wants this alive. So he's either gonna use a blocker or something from his hand. It's going to die regardless. But if I kill him with an attack, I don't have to discard it with Krieg. Here, I'm just getting cards out of his hand, because I know he wants it alive. But it's gonna die regardless. I'm using 2 attacks, which is okay. Alright, so we got two 2k counters. And I'm just gonna play Krieg right here. I'm gonna discard probably the chopper. And that's it. Okay, perfect. Do I want to take this? I don't mind, actually. Okay. So here, I'll probably put 2 on him, maybe 3. Because we're going to play Jango, and we're going to leave something out for this, Punk Gibson. So that's 5, 6, 7. So we only have 2 Dawn to work with. So just 2 is fine. We'll try and get something out of his hand first. Or take a life. Okay. So he doesn't have much of a hand now. He was probably hoping to use Kobe. But unless he has another Kobe in hand, he can't use it. So we're going to do this. He'll probably block it, but it's fine. We'll just restand him. And then we'll get a free attack with Kuro. Okay. Now we can just use and restand him. And do 9. Doesn't have enough, so he has to take it. Maybe I should have attacked with Kuro first. But I'll leave 2 up. I'll attack. It's fine actually. That way he can discard more cards from his hand. Blocker. Okay, this is fine. We're gonna end here with 2 ups for Punk Gibson, so you can block his attack with Punk Gibson. Just depends how much Donnie wants to invest into it. And then we have a 2k counter in hand. Actually, we have 2, 3, 4, up to 4k from hand. So we can block up to 14, I think. 13 maybe, but we'll see. Okay, so he's searching for something. He's probably searching for Sakazuki. Okay, drop the Kuzan. Okay, so he doesn't have enough for Sakazuki now. Okay, so he's at 0. He has to attack with this first. Okay. Yeah, that's how you do it. So the question is here, I probably need to keep this guy alive. So I'm gonna save my counters for that. I'll trigger this. Get I guess another Don Krieg, right? That works. No, it depends who these guys attack. I want to keep him alive. Okay. I can just do 2k right here. Do I have enough for that? I can do 10. And then 11. This is probably Shockwave. And if it is, then it won't be able to use my leader's ability. But I still think we need 3 attacks. And we have 3 attacks here. We don't need to use Don Krieg. We'll do 3 here first. Yeah, okay. That's what I thought it was. Okay. So what's the safest play here to do? You can Don Krieg, pop these 2, and he'll only have 2 cards. Or 2 attacks. We're gonna attack here first. Let's see. Trash the buggy since it has no counter. Oh, there you go. That's how we do it. That's a better way. No. I didn't have enough to put a blocker. Because he stopped this. He needs 3 attacks to go in. He has 2 attackers on board, Lear and this guy, Iso. Okay, another one that does nothing though. You can all go to. You can clear everything, and it doesn't matter. Okay, we can even block this, but. that's it. We can even attack twice, but I don't think it's worth it. I don't have anything from hand, so GG. Okay, so we're up against yellow. They are going second, so we're going first. We have a buggy, and we have a Krieg. So we got early game presence, not the best, or not the ideal one. We don't have Nami, but I think this is fine with the Lucci and the buggy and the Krieg. I think we might be able to do it, so we're just gonna keep this right here. And we can't do anything first turn, so we're just gonna end our turn. Okay, so they usually like to play Sanji on the second turn, which is fine. So we have Butchie. So the way our turns look like right now is we're probably gonna end up playing buggy. We're gonna attack first, see if they take a life or if they discard. The next turn, after they need to spend 2 mana or 2 Dawn on him, and he will have 2 Dawn left. So can either do a blocker or attack for 7 with their leader, or maybe just another Sanji. But we can just play our Butchie and have him KO easily, and we'll still have 1 Dawn left, and we'll be pretty set to play him on the 3rd turn. So we're gonna attack first. See what happens. It depends if they take it and what triggers they get, if any. Okay, nothing. That's good. So now we're just gonna play our buggy and end our turn. So the good thing about him is that we don't have to spend any Dawn for him to attack. Okay, so I don't really mind taking this. He still has 4 Dawn left, so you can probably do a cracker. And if it's a cracker, I think I'd rather take it. Because cracker is a character where you can put 1 Dawn, and if they have less life than I do, and then their character gets an extra 1,000 and double attack. So I'd rather take it. I think I want him to attack with it though. I'm not going to use the Gibson. Okay, he's going to use this one instead. Okay. So maybe I should have used the Gibson. I think that was a misplay. I should have used the Gibson and guaranteed the KO with the Butchie, but this is still fine. The only thing, I'll still be able to KO both of them with Krieg next turn. The only question is, what do I want to play right now? I want to attack with buggy. Okay, that's fine. I'm honestly just probably gonna play one of my Butchies, because these two, if they both attack, I'll just clear them both with Krieg, and that's not a problem. And I'll develop a board, but yeah, I'll do this. Okay, blocked again. That's okay. So we'll do Butchie, can't do anything, and end. So would our turn be stronger if we had used Gibson? Definitely, yeah, because he would have been KO'd. I was hoping he would attack, but he's doing it now. I think I want to defend the buggy for sure, so I'll do one. I think he will ultimately die, especially. But this is fine because he's using all of his Dawn to clear Buggy. Ultimately, he probably will. But this is fine because if he goes in all in on Buggy, then our Dawn Krieg will just easily clear this and we have the board. So I'm gonna use my chopper. Okay. This is fine. No, he's probably gonna use the Pearl Spear. Oh, okay. He discarded a life. That's fine. That's actually better. So now, with just one card, we're gonna have board. We're gonna attack first. He's been aggressively protecting his life. There it is. And then we're gonna do this. Okay, he's still actively doing it. So now we're at Dawn Krieg. Trash the Buggy. Bam. And just like that, we got board. So at most they can probably wipe out one of our characters, which is fine. Still got this guy up, and it's their turn 7, so they'll probably Katakuri this. And if he does, that's unfortunate. But and it looks like he does. I don't have an extra counter for him, unfortunately, but yeah. I think they're gonna Katakuri. And it's gonna be Krieg. Oh, even better. So we're gonna trash because we don't want to give them life. Now, a perfect card would be Jango. So I can restand. We're gonna do 2. And then bam. Okay. No blockers. I can play her. I will have 5 down left. And if I want to do the restand, I can attack twice for 7. And rest Nami. Now the question is, I don't think I can win from here though. Because if my attacks do fail, this is banished. It's not double attack, but still. Then we're gonna oh yeah, he was deciding what to discard. Okay. So no more Big Mom, no more Charlotte. Okay. We're gonna search here. There is the Jango. I'll do this. So he doesn't have any 1Ks. So I don't think I'm gonna restand him. because I need to make sure I have this to defend against an attack. I'm probably gonna save off on the Jango. So that I can use it on my leader. So I'm gonna use this like this. Yeah, doesn't look like he has 2k counters. I mean 1k counters. Okay, yeah, he used two 2k counters. Okay. So our winning condition is to be able to block an attack with Punt Gibson, rest something. We need the Nami to not die, and we can potentially attack 3 times with our leader next turn. One with his normal attack, another one with Jango, and then rest Jango and Nami for a 3rd attack. So this turn he's either going to try and finish it or clear board. So we'll see what he does. That's interesting. He's trying to clear board. Looks like he's gonna Big Mom, right? If he's gonna 10 cost Big Mom, yeah, he's probably gonna do 10 cost Big Mom. So I'm gonna lose a life. He's gonna gain 2, but I think it's still fine as long as Krieg is alive. So we can accept that one. Yeah, there it is. He's definitely gonna do Big Mom. And that's okay. So Big Mom is a 10 cost, this one. On play, they get an extra life. Oh, he's doing Katakuri. Okay, that's fine too. Oh, he gave himself a life. Okay. So we talked about in the video, 2 Dawn up against yellow, you need to be swinging with at least 3. So it's going to require okay. But we can just go 5. I don't think they have enough for 5. So it'll be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. We're gonna do it all in here on Krieg. They need to plus 5k and then 2 cards from hand at least if they're both 2k. So we'll see how that goes, if they accept it or not. Obviously he's gonna drop more cards with Shirahoshi if he takes this. Okay, so he took it. Draw 3, and then discard 2. But he has 0 life left. Okay. So he discarded 10 cost. He needs to discard something else, right? Yes. Okay. And he discarded a double attack. Alright. Moment of truth, right? So yeah, we'll see. This is do or dies right here. So he needs that event, and then he needs to discard at least 2 more cards if they're both 2k. So he'd be losing 3 cards from hand. And maybe we get this, but we will see. We will see. Okay, there it is, 10, 12, 14. Okay. So he had it, and now let's see if he has an extra Gunke. If he does, it's his win. He does. Oh, so that play with Shirahoshi and Charlotte, that was game changing. That was for real. So now he's gonna win. He's gonna double attack and banish. So none of these cards are gonna be like we won't be able to get them in hand. So that was, again, luck of the draw, kind of. But yeah, double attack, banish. Simply because, like, with this, you don't know what you're gonna draw. And he discarded this and that, so hey, it was a pretty good game, you know. I don't think anything from our life was gonna help regardless, but that was close. So I think him getting this off of trigger, double attack, was big. But yeah, I think we played what we could, and he just drew the cards that he needed, you know. So yeah, it's fine. I enjoyed this game. Okay, so we're gonna play against Rob Lucci this time. They're going first, so we're going second. 2 Namis, it's not bad. I think I'll keep this. Okay. So we're gonna play the Nami. We are going to get... We already have one of these. A blocker would be nice. But a sham isn't bad either. We'll get the sham, just yeah. And we're gonna end our turn. So next turn we'll probably play another Nami just because we're still looking for the Krieg or something else. If the attack, we'll probably take it. That's fine. Okay. Let's play the blocker. And he didn't attack. Got it. Oh, we will. Okay, so discarded one. So let's do our search. No Krieg still, which kind of feels bad. But we'll take the blocker this time because we can't get the Nami. And then we're just gonna play this one. So perhaps next turn we're just gonna start swinging. For 6k maybe, and then just leave 2 Dawn open for Punk Gibson, and maybe we can rest something good. Okay. So he's still trying to add more CP. Because he can't play Kaku yet. And pop one of these things for free. So Kaku is a 5 cost where you can put 2 CPs from your trash into your deck, and then he pops a 3 cost or lower. So you can pop any one of these things. But he can't do it yet. It doesn't have enough Dawn. So before he pops any of these, I should probably use them and for my leader's ability, and I can rest him and actually clear him. So he's gonna have 2 Dawn up, so he probably has Shockwave, so one of these is okay. Never mind. Okay, I'm taking it, and that's fine. It's not going to be swinging for a lot of damage, but because I want to have this up, or do I want to? Because I'm going to kill this regardless, I think. And it requires 3 Dawn. So I have 3 Dawn to work with. The only question is, do I want this up? I don't think so. Not right now, at least. So we're going to do 8. Well, if he blocks. And then I get rid of it. Without having to use my ability. Okay. So he does. And that's fine because now he can play this and kill that too. But I don't know how much of a threat is that. I think I'd rather just play the buggy. There you go. So he can Kaku pop one of our Namis, but we still have other 2 up. And if we don't get a Krieg next turn, we can just rest these guys. Yeah, there's the Kaku. And then there's the Nami's gonna go. Oh, I mean 3 cost. Yeah, buggy. Sorry, I was thinking of a red card that's 3,000 attack or less. But yeah, okay. That's 7. don't think I want to be taking too much anymore. So I'm gonna block. Yeah. I'll do one. Okay. No, we don't want to be taking too much damage. Yeah, this sucks because we're not getting our big guys. So we have to go all in with our Kuro. So we're going to do 7. And that leaves us with 5. We can play Buggy. It leaves us with 5. So what's better? I think we're attacking twice regardless. Just because we need to be more aggressive right now. And we're gonna sack these two for sure. I think, yeah. So we're gonna play Buggy. We're gonna put 2 on him. Yeah. We'll see. Let's see what he does. Okay. He discards 2, which is perfectly fine. We're gonna rest. And we're gonna rest him. Now we have the option to kill him, which I kind of like better. Because he just discarded a bunch. And he's going to discard practically his whole hand to keep him alive. Or I can just do everything. How bad do I want him dead? I don't think having a pug can compound Gibson next turn is too important. So we're just going to do it like this. Kind of guarantees it, unless everything here is 2k. And even then, it's not enough. 8, 10, no, it would be. Okay, but it dies. So that's fine. And he's probably gonna clear both of the Namis. And if he has another Kaku, then he can clear the whole board. But so Lucci can pretty much attack twice too. But his is only once per turn, and he has to discard. He's going for face, which is fine. Can't block it. Sakazuki. Interesting. He's gonna discard a 2k for Momo. Got it. And then he's gonna attack again. I'm gonna block this one. Do I have? I think so. This. Computer's kind of lagging. Okay. In this case, keeping them alive is important because I'm gonna take this guy out. I'm gonna attack and take this guy out. So we're gonna sacrifice that guy. Okay, we finally got our Krieg. Is it too late? Maybe. I think if we go full board control here, I can easily wipe everything out. This can clear that. Then just rest 3 and rest. So 5. I'll have 5 Dawn left. Fortunately, not enough, but we're just gonna clear his board. Is it a 5 or less? Oh, we can't do that. We can't clear him. Yeah, it has to be 5 or less, and he's 6. Okay. That does kind of change things. And we are playing the Krieg. Yeah, we're gonna do it. Choose no targets. Oh yeah, I'm gonna take for 5. And then we're gonna summon the Krieg. I'm not gonna discard anything. Okay. So he can keep letting these two live and giving me just sort of like letting me have my ability. Or has to spend some time and attack them. So it's kind of interesting to see what he would choose. It does kind of feel bad attacking, putting some resources into him, into these two, but that's, you know, that's good for us. We're pretty low too, and we don't have too many counters. So holding off on the Punk Gibson, or making sure we have enough Dawn for Punk Gibson next turn is pretty crucial, I think. It just depends on what he wants to do, if he wants to attack these two or not. Because now that the Krieg is up, he'll probably be taken too. Looks like he's going face, I think. Yeah. He can... I can't block everything. If I can get a trigger to land, that'll be very helpful. Like another Nami or a Hotchan. Okay. Alright, let's see what he does. Looks like he's going... He's gonna be going face. I can't block it, obviously. No. Oh, okay. That's good. That's not good. Okay. So he can have 2 cards. What is the best option here? Obviously he can't block this, so we're gonna clear off the Sakazuki first. That's dead. I don't know if we want to take it slow though. Like if we take it slow to get 1 card and maybe build up. I think I kind of want to build up. That might be the smarter play. Because double attacking right now gives him 2 cards, and then his draw is 3. And then he has enough to, depending on what he draws, to KO something and double attack and possibly win. But just attacking once with Krieg gives him 1 card, 2 cards from the draw. But it'll let me set up a board so that next turn I can attack for more. So I'm probably going to put the 2 buggies, leave the Punk Gibson up. We're going to do that. Now we're going to do this. We're going to do this. And leave this up. And I think this is fine. You can do everything to face, or you can do everything to him. And that's fine, because we'll still have a board. So this is what makes One Piece fun. You know, all these different decisions and what-if scenarios. Like, you know, like, you want to be doing double attack on Krieg all the time. Well, maybe not this time. Maybe right now you don't need to. Okay. Draw 2. So, but he wasted a 2k. And he discarded Sakazuki. And, or he's using Air Door? He used Air Door and nothing came out. Ooh. Okay. Yeah. He discarded these 2 and then used Air Door and nothing. Wow. He's gonna want to try and clear this. We'll see. Yeah, not enough. There you go. Okay. I think we do this first. Okay. Yeah, we'll do this first. No, we're gonna do 2. Let's see. I can attack with 1 buggy. Actually, is it better to just attack with full buggy everything? How do I lose this? We'll do 1. No. 7, 8, 9, 10, that's 12. Yeah, we'll do it like this. I think everything with buggy needs to happen. Because in case that's a shockwave. Yeah, perfect, cool. See, very interesting games, interesting scenarios today. I think that's gonna be it for me. I wish we could have played against Red. I think playing against Red is very tricky because they do have access to a bunch of event cards that just clear the board without having to attack. So I wish we could have paired against the red deck, but I hope you liked today's video. I did it. I'm recording on the 4th of July, so maybe I don't know if you're hearing fireworks in the background, but yeah, today's happy 4th of July. I know when the video comes out, probably it won't be 4th of July anymore, but I hope you guys had a great 4th. Thank you for the views, thank you for the comments, thank you for the supports, and see you on the next one.